WMMS.com for all the other stuff. Latest episode of the Bill Squire Show is there. Latest Poundcake podcast. Amder Turd and...
No, did I spell that wrong?
It says Amder Turd and Grinder Stalking. Is that right?
I mean, it should be Amber, but...
Oh, the graphic says Amber. It says I didn't know which one. Amder Turd and Grinder Stalking.
Yeah, well, dyslexia shows up again.
All right. Well, a lowercase d is a lowercase b backwards.
Mm-hmm. There we
so
go.
I get it. There you go.
Fixed.
Amber Turd and Grinder Stalking. Now, if you thought to yourself over the years, boy, I hope, you forget all these 4 billion and who cares true crime podcasts, right? If anybody ever comes along and is able to marry a celebrity lawsuit and stalking on a gay sex app, I will tune in.
It's not a gay sex app.
Grindr is not a gay sex hookup app.
It's dating.
Poundcake. Sweet, sweet Poundcake. I'm not telling you what Grindr is, you know. Why are you trying to cast it as something romantic?
Because I know people that have
All you've talked about is how easy it is. I just turn on my locator and I walk out my house.
Yes, but I abuse that.
Huh?
I abuse its purpose.
Yes, that's what it's for, is to be abused.
I know guys,
he's over here trying to make Grindr all romantic.
I know guys have gotten engaged from meeting on Grindr.
Oh, no. Listen, I'm sure that people can use it for all kinds of things. I'm just saying that most people, when they're using it as casually as they are, and not just Grindr, I mean, all the Tinder or whatever it is, right? And people are looking for, that's why you'll see lists now, because there are the dating app thing has become so niche and so blown up into so many different areas. You'll see these lists that people will compile about the very best apps for just hooking up. And it's apps you've probably never heard of before. But then that list, if you read it, then those apps blow up in popularity because people go, oh, well, I don't want to be on something where I have to be romantic, like Grindr. Anywho, that's all at AlanCoxShow.com. Guardians, I think, lost 2 of 3 over the weekend.
Yes.
They played somebody.
Twins.
And they played the Twins, the Minnesota Twins. And they'll be back here at home tomorrow night to play the Cincinnati Reds. These guys cannot make anything happen. The Cincinnati Reds are 9-26. They threw a no-hitter against Pittsburgh and lost. The Pittsburgh Pirates. The Pirates are technically my National League team because my A, B, and C team are all American League teams. But the Pirates are technically my National League team. But they are not good this season. A lot of times they're not good. It's few and far between you'll get an amazing season out of the Pirates. But they're not as bad as the Reds. Reds threw a no-hitter against the Pirates and lost 1-0.
That is incredible.
This was like the Guardians against the who beat the crap out of them. It was like 41-9 or something. Who did they just lose to? That huge, whatever it was, right? Who cares? But when you pitch a no-hitter, that's supposed to be cause for celebration. You're supposed to be, oh my God, this is great. And I guess it is for the pitcher. It's a big deal. Hunter Green was the pitcher.
You want the win, though.
You want the win. They lost in the 8th inning.
It seems like he has not only hit that wall, he's been at it for a bit of time. And so he's going to be done. And the road crowd, a mixture of applause, a smattering of boos. He leaves firing a no-hitter.
And you get Pirates folks in their own stadium standing up and clapping for you as you come out. Pitched pretty well, and that he did.
Yeah, at European Sea Park, why not be magnanimous about it, right? You're like, hey, we won 1-0, real barn burner. But that guy pitched a no-hitter.
But he didn't do a complete game no-hitter.
Correct.
Still impressive.
8 innings, man. Mm-hmm. You remember my no-hitter. It was 1.5 innings. So anyway, the Guardians take 1 out of that 3, the series against the Twins in Minnesota. They'll be back here at home tomorrow night, 6:10 start, tomorrow and Wednesday. And then they'll start up 3 games against the Tigers here at home, and then they'll head to Houston next week, play the Astros. I believe the Astros are the Houston Major League Baseball team.
For now.
Is Verlander still with the Astros?
I think he is.
All right.
I don't know, though. He might have gone to the Dodgers or something.
All right, sir. So that's what your week looks like baseball-wise.
Yeah, he's still with Houston.
All right, sir. Bill was in NWA this weekend.
Yeah.
He had a brief dalliance with... Where were you exactly?
So, started off in Oklahoma City on Wednesday.
Oh, right, because I was asking if you were going to the Federal Building Memorial.
I didn't make it there.
What?
But I got there, and my buddy booked us in this hotel called the 21C. Have you ever heard of these before?
A what?
21C.
What?
21C.
Yes.
No.
It is a hotel/museum. So they'll take these old buildings, like it'll be like a cheese factory or something that's out of business. They renovate it, put a bunch of art all through it, and then make them fancy rooms. And it was awesome. One of the coolest hotels I've ever stayed in, because you can go, you get there and you have something to do immediately.
You stayed in Bentonville, Arkansas.
That was later.
Oh, where was it? Because I'm seeing Louisville, Durham, North Carolina, Cincinnati.
In Oklahoma City. The Oklahoma City one is brand new.
Oh, okay, I was going to say. They're putting one in St. Louis. It doesn't show here. Okay.
The 21C in Oklahoma City is brand new.
So, because because I see there's one in Chicago, and I'm shopping for hotels right now. So you'd recommend? Chef recommends the 21C?
Would, yeah.
All right.
Because, I mean, if you like art as well.
I mean, I'm a patron of the arts.
Yes. See, Mary, I don't think would appreciate a hotel like this because it's got a lot of modern art. There was this one, I had it on my story, there just like a head, like a giant head with a bunch of mannequin legs sticking out the back of it. Very disturbing. I loved it.
Okay.
Then there was just other exhibits that you go in. And so you can go to their restaurant, grab a cocktail, walk around and look at some art while you're kind of decompressing after traveling.
One of the hotels that we'll stay in occasionally when we're in Toronto is called the Gladstone House, and it's very much like that, where there's art everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have these plastic penguins that you're allowed to move around. So when we got
What do you mean allowed to move around?
Like, people move them around. They put them all over the hotel.
Are these life-size plastic penguins?
They're about 4.5 feet tall. Big.
What?
And you can just
penguins.
and they encourage you to relocate them throughout the hotel.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. So we got back from the show, and I was like, I got to move that penguin now. So I took the penguin with us, put it right in front of our door as a emperor penguin to guard the door of our hotel room. Woke up, it wasn't back where we put it. It was somewhere out, like, I don't know where it was.
I was going to say, it can't guard your hotel room door if anyone can move it.
Right.
You should have nailed it to the floor.
He's bad.
See
bad
how
at his
committed
job,
these people were, too. Yeah.
But, yeah, people move those around. And then, just... So that's cool. People came out to the shows. And then on Friday... Well, Thursday we went to Fayetteville. You ever been there? To where the University of Arkansas is?
I have never been to Arkansas.
Okay.
No.
Me either. Not what I was expecting. I guess Northwest Arkansas, which they call NWA, which threw me off because they're like, "Welcome to NWA." I'm like, "Oh no, are we allowed to be in NWA?" But it's Northwest Arkansas, very different apparently from the rest of Arkansas.
Well, yeah, like Austin is very different than the rest. There's all those enclaves in any state, especially in a place like Arkansas, I'd imagine.
So Fayetteville, pretty basic college town. Did a show there at a music venue called George's. That was very cool, very fun. Working with Zarna Garg, who is a TikTok celebrity.
Zarna Garg!
But she's very funny. She's like a 50-year-old lawyer and mom, and she started doing comedy 4 or 5 years ago. And she's killing it. She's like just works her ass off.
Now, if she were to murder an audience, would she defend herself?
She'd be able to, but she'd also have a lot of other lawyers that would be willing to.
Well, and there's a cautionary tale for you who are considering going to law school or getting your JD or whatever. Here's somebody who goes, nah, I'd rather be a comedian than a lawyer.
Well, she went to law school, and her husband works on
you have
Wall
to be a
Street.
lawyer.
Yeah. Her husband works on Wall Street, so I don't think she was even really a practicing lawyer.
Oh, so she's got the freedom of not needing money.
Right.
Gotcha.
But she wants it. She works really hard. So did shows with her. She was great. She was very fun to talk to and get to know. And my buddy Raj, we were having a good time. But we're in a college town, and in college towns, they're so strict on IDs. To the point where we are with a 50-year-old Indian woman, and we're trying to walk into this bar, and they're like, if she doesn't got an ID, she can't come in. She's like, well, it's just back over at George's. I'm like, we don't need to go in here and get any drinks. But I thought that was the funniest thing.
I'm surprised they would even let her in, even if she did have an ID. I got kicked out, and I had an ID.
No, but I've told that story before. When I was dating somebody who went to Indiana University of Pennsylvania many, many years ago, I was clearly considerably older, and they wouldn't let me in because of my,
But you're also, I mean, that's how it is in a college town. So we ended up just going next door, hanging out there and eating some tacos.
So were you playing to Indian people?
Yeah.
Zarna Garg and Raj sound like Indian comics to me.
Yeah, so the first 2 nights I was, because the first 2 nights I was working with her. And so performing for a predominantly Indian audience, which was fun. It's a different, a lot of them been in here. So it's not like there was, like I had to pander to them, but there was some moments, and I posted a clip where a guy, I'm like, anybody have a breakup during the pandemic? And you hear an Indian guy, what do you think? And I go, oh, yeah. These guys don't really break up once they get married. Anybody have an arranged breakup? Mm-hmm. And that went over pretty well.
So you're talking to like Indian audience. You're talking to an Indian audience because that's what she draws. Was it called like? Did it have a punny name?
Her tour
for the show? Yeah.
No, it's just Zarna Garg, and she draws a mixed audience. I mean, you're gonna get. It was probably about 75% Indian, but then we were at getting a drink one day, and some lady's just like, "Oh, Zarna, I just saw you on TikTok. I followed you last week. Are you performing?" And she's like, "Yeah, come on over." And so this lady bought tickets right then when we were talking with her.
Does she do like Indians, like Pakistani centric kind of stuff, or
no? I mean, she's Indian,
okay.
and she talks about their culture, but it's still relatable enough that even because a lot of it just has to do with being an immigrant. Mm-hmm. So there's people that are there that are just, from other countries, and they appreciate it because they appreciate that sense of humor of we're from a different country and we're trying to get used to these customs here.
Right.
And, our culture, that immigrant culture kind of runs together.
Well, I assume part of her hook too is because of how you described her. She's 50, she's a mom.
Yeah.
She's like Sally Field in Punchline.
Yeah. So she's talking about her kids a lot.
Early Roseanne.
So she's got a lot of, there's very specific material, but it's also widely relatable too. Because she's not just doing jokes about being Indian. She just, that's just who she is. So it's going to skew that way a little bit. Mm-hmm. And she's doing really well. And so then Friday, hanging out in Bentonville. And if you know anything about Bentonville, that's where Walmart.
That's the HQ.
Yeah. The Waltons are from there. And man, Poundcake, you want to go to a place with a lot of money.
Oh, I imagine, yeah.
If you want to go find yourself a husband that can just take care of you, that is the place. There is so much money there.
Because the Walton they don't all live there, right? I mean, it's just
a lot of them do.
Has it trickled down to the town? It's like,
oh yeah,
okay.
Because there's so many other businesses that are coming there because the Waltons will say, well, if you want to work with Walmart or any of our other companies, you have to have a presence in this city. So then you get a bunch of other companies setting up shop, not their headquarters, but some sort of physical presence in that city, and it just has driven prices sky high. Houses are going for $1 million there now.
Sure.
And nothing.
And it's
special.
it's not a large town.
No,
either.
it's not a very big town at all. But then they have all these museums because, they got to have their tax shelters. But it makes for a good.
So there's a lot of family donations. Is the
whole place is
the Walton name on everything? Like
they have. So I went to this place called Crystal Bridges, and it's a gigantic art museum, just outside of Bentonville, like right outside of the town square, and it's this massive building that has all this modern art in it. Again, stuff that Mary would hate. Mm-hmm. Because you have to, and some of it was garbage, but overall I thought it was cool. But the building itself was so cool because it's built into the landscape. It's like a layer for an evil.
It's like Dr. Evil. Yeah, okay.
So I was just blown away by how much money the Waltons have. Like seeing that.
They're a wealthy family.
They're very wealthy, but seeing it in action where they're like, well, let's build an art museum. They're like, okay. And it's not just like and they have one that's in an old warehouse, but they're like, well, no, we want one that's unique. So we're going to spend $20 million to build this art museum. Mm-hmm. And they did it, and it's crazy. And then all the town connects. There's a private airport right next to the other airport, which that's when you know that they got a lot of money because they can't, like, that airport's 8 minutes away. I would like one to be 4 minutes away.
Yeah, I think that probably a lot of the members of the Walton family live there because when they try to live anywhere else, they're like screamed out of town.
I think they can be pretty anonymous, too.
Maybe. But
I don't know what any of them look like.
If you're known for, yeah, I guess.
Yeah. So I did a show on Saturday for a private club. And
a private club?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's just full of millionaires.
Sure.
Just, you could...
Well, that's your target audience.
This is the kind of stuff where Poundcake would have been just so excited because he would want to smell everybody in there.
I'm already digging up Zillow. So I'm like, let me see what the nearest house is.
But Poundcake, let's lay this out for it. First, let me give you some money here, and then I'll hit you with the hypothetical. Still got time to go fund yourself $1,000 with every one of these keywords, so listen closely and good luck.
The Buzzard wants you to go fund yourself and score $1,000. Enter the nationwide keyword WORK at WMMS.com. That's WORK. Enter it now at WMMS.com. And good luck from Buzzard Radio.
So, Poundcake, let's say Bill does another gig in Bentonville, Arkansas. Stays there.
Which is it's likely.
Next time, right? He kills it there in the NWA. So they go, hey, why don't you come back? He goes, great. Next time you go with him. Mm-hmm. And you meet someone. They don't have to have the name Walton, but imagine Poundcake marries into the Walton family.
Oh, my God.
Okay?
You'd be so happy.
The caveat is you have to live in Bentonville, Arkansas, a town which I can only assume is aggressively white.
No.
What?
It's not. It's
very segregated.
No, it's not segregated.
Oh, they live there, just not anywhere near.
Well, one of the reasons they did a show in that area is because Bentonville is like 12% South Asian, so a lot of Indian people live there, and then it was aggressively white, but it's getting to be
now you got your blacks,
a lot more diversity.
This says 78% white, so okay.
That's a lot, but it's not completely white.
So Poundcake, so you go there and you meet someone. The caveat, though, is you have to live in Bentonville, Arkansas.
And it is hot, though.
It's okay.
It's very hot.
You live there?
Yeah. I mean, if I'm marrying my dream guy and he's like...
Listen, I'd marry my dream guy and live there.
I would say it's all about sacrifice. Like, I'm not going to get everything I want in a marriage. Would I prefer to stay here near family? Yes, but when I have a private jet, I can just fly home whenever I want.
Stay here. I thought you were going to go out and make your way in the world.
What did it say in my bio?
I don't read your bio. We're talking right now.
It said in my bio, I would love to marry a rich white man, but until then, I'm going to earn my bones in radio.
But that's got nothing to do with where you live. That tells me nothing about all you've ever said is you want to go out and make your way in the world. Now you're like, I want to stay close to home.
But I want to be, but it's not necessarily staying close to home like Cleveland. I mean, like...
No, you just said that. I want to stay close to home.
But this is where my family is.
Right.
I do get homesick. I do enjoy my mom and my family, just in moderation. I don't want to have the option of not having them close. Mm-hmm. Like they're far away now because I want them to. I'm trying to live on my own, but they're only a 45-minute drive from my house. Now, when I would have to arrange like, oh, mom's flying in, or I got to fly home to see mom, that's a little different.
All right.
But I think she would be very sympathetic to my Mom, I can't. Me and Chaz are going to be in Abu Dhabi next weekend.
Chaz,
that's the thing,
is
too.
The guy, yeah. We're going to watch all the skyscrapers sink into the sea.
It very well could be a Chaz. I feel like there was a few
Chancellor
Chazes.
Chaz.
But yeah, you would love that city because of the idea that you could be talking to somebody that's very wealthy at any minute.
Not even know it.
And not even know it, exactly. And it was, I mean, they were fun crowds. They were good shows. There was a baby that was, it was a toddler that was brought to one of the comedy shows, which I thought was pretty funny.
You have a baby in a bar.
Those are the type of cities have to go and put up a front. Like, I don't live there. I'm just staying there for maybe a week or two. And in that week or two, I rent the most luxurious car I can afford to rent for that week. and just hang out at places where rich people hang out. It's parked outside the country club. It's parked outside.
That would give you away as somebody that's not rich because they would just have somebody drive them around.
No, I just wanted to take it out for a spin. I don't get to drive that much.
Yeah, but why would? But they know that you're just in town for a couple weeks.
They don't know that. Why would they know that?
Because you show up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying.
What are you going to say? I bought a house here?
Yeah, I've just moved to
town? I don't
town?
say anything. I don't explain myself. People with money don't explain themselves.
You don't have money. You're pretending that you have money.
Yes, but they don't know that. I'm just at the gas station pumping gas.
The gas station.
I talked to some rich people. They explain themselves.
Yeah, that's right. They love to explain
Yeah,
themselves.
yeah.
You can't get them to shut up.
The ones with like a lot of money probably aren't explaining themselves, but there's a few different people, and it's not even that they're explaining themselves like that they have so much money. They're telling you the job that they have and what they're working on, and you're like, oh, okay, you own this whole section of Bentonville. I guess you're doing okay.
I'd probably give myself away anyways because I would pull up with my luxury car and then put like $10 in the tank. They're like, oh, never mind. He's not gonna fill. You're not gonna fill her up. No, I only got her for. No. I'm not.
He's got to stop every 2 gas stations because he's driving around in a Cadillac.
Yeah.
And he's like, got to keep filling it up.
They're gonna be like, sir. I'm like, oh yes, this is my car. Okay, well, good. I was just gonna tell you, it only takes premium fuel. I'm like, what's fuel?
What's fuel?
You mean gas?
He's trying to keep up appearances while he's out there in his Cadillac and all that stuff.
You get 87 every time.
I think you'd have a very good time. I mean, if you find yourself in the NWA, there's a lot of cool stuff to check out. A lot more culture than I was expecting for Arkansas.
Any gay clubs?
Yeah, but you're going to have that in any town where there's a lot of money.
Right. I guess I didn't understand how much money was there until I got there, and it really sunk in when I went to that art museum where, it was a $20 million
Now let me ask you this. Is there a Walmart in Bentonville, Arkansas?
Yes, there is, and I went to it.
And do they sell like rich people stuff?
No, it's just a regular
Because it is
old
funny.
Walmart.
People think you're kidding, but if you go to a Walmart in a more affluent community, it's very different than when you go to.
Yeah,
I mean they've got staples, obviously,
Yeah.
but you can also tell. Oh, they know who their audience is around here, and it's not like the Steel Yard.
It's definitely not like the Steel Yard.
Right.
I would say it's more like the Avon Lake Walmart. Which even that, I mean, you can tell that it is a Walmart that is kept super clean and everything is organized. Like if you put something on the rack and it's a wrong rack, within 10 minutes, somebody is swooping in there, putting things where they belong.
Oh, you get rack shamed if you put something in?
No, they're not even rack shaming you. They're just saying, like, that's their job to make sure that everything stays organized. They don't want it to look disheveled or messed up at all.
They've got a rack valet.
Yeah.
I've got to take a break. If you want to text for something, 35192. If you listen to the show on the iHeartRadio app, you can always leave us messages there on the talkback button, and we'll be back.